So, I'm here with my mom.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Thanks for doing my podcast.
You're welcome.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. I was like,
You're wondering what I'm going to say about you.
well, not so much that. It's just generally I've had somebody or everyone that I've invited on kind of has something to promote. So it's been musicians. So I was trying to think of what we could talk about, because I know you're not running a business or anything right now. So I don't know that you have much to promote, but you do have stories to tell.
Okay.
Maybe. So we're sitting in my living room, which used to be your old house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a long, long time ago.
This is, I always refer to this as my grandparents' house, but this is actually the house that you grew up in as well.
Yep.
So, what was it like here when you were a kid? Was it, from the stories that I've heard, it seems like it was a bit more of a functioning farm back then? Was it?
Yeah. Pretty much. They raised chickens. They raised pigs. I can remember being a little kid, and when the pigs were born, then a lot of times the mother wouldn't take care of them, or they could roll over and kill them. So then a lot of times we'd bring baby pigs in, and we'd put them in the bathtub with heat lamps on them and raise pigs in our bathroom.
I don't remember ever hearing about pigs for some reason. I know you had chickens, because we have a chicken coop out there.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
now
remember
just a big
the chickens.
garage.
I don't remember much about chickens.
So when there were pigs, where did you keep them? Was it in the chicken coop out there?
In the chicken coop or back out behind. We also had steers. There was a barn too.
Yeah.
There was a barn next door that burned down. There was steers in there. They would raise the steers so we could eat them.
Yeah.
So
How many pigs did you?
I don't know.
No.
I don't remember a whole lot. The pigs I remember the most are when Margaret would bring pigs home, and then Dad built a pen for them out back, and then she'd go out and feed her pigs and raise her pigs, and so the biggest pig was called Steve. They named him Steve.
Oh.
Because he liked to eat. And I don't remember how many she had, if she had 2 or 3. I think there might have been 3.
Yeah.
But being a
So-
little kid, I don't remember the pigs. I remember them being in the bathroom. I don't remember them where in the chicken coop, and I never remembered the chickens. I do remember the steers. We had a few steers. We had one that liked to eat everything, and they'd tie him out in the barnyard. And one time, being a little kid, I had really long hair. I never had my hair cut until I was in 4th grade. And so I had really long hair, and a lot of times it was up in a ponytail. And I remember being in the barn one time, just walking along, and I don't know, I turned my back to this steer that liked to suck on everything, and just like that, he had my ponytail in his mouth.
Oh, jeez.
And he just pulled my head right back, and I'm like, oh. And so I get my hair back, and there's just this great big long slimy ponytail. It was like, awful.
Yeah.
So
that was, so you kept those in a barn that's not here anymore.
Yep.
Yep.
Now
I remember hearing stories about Grandpa getting struck by lightning, or the barn getting hit by lightning.
The barn got hit by lightning.
Was anybody in it, or was it empty?
Nope, it was empty.
And that's how it burned down, right?
That's how it burned down, yep.
Yep. Did Grandpa get hit by lightning ever?
Nope.
For some reason, I thought I had that story in my head, but
No, I don't think so.
no.
No.
He almost got ran over by a car, though, once.
Yeah.
A Model T.
A Model T, yep.
Yeah.
When he was a little boy, he was.
Yeah.
That was just a story. I don't recall a whole bunch about it. I just know that Debbie used to go to school and said her grandpa got run over by a stagecoach. And he used to laugh and laugh because then that would really make him really, really, really old.
Yeah.
So
Model T's much better.
Yeah, Model T's much better, at least
Yeah.
in his eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you were the youngest of 7 or 9? 7?
7.
Yep.
Yep.
And by quite a bit. How?
From the oldest to the youngest, there was 18 years difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so who was next oldest? Was that Jerry?
Nope, Ron.
No, I'm sorry. Closest to you in age.
Oh, the closest to me in age, yep, it was Jerry.
Yep.
Yep. He was 5 years older.
Yep.
So
So what was it like? I know with farms there's a lot of work involved, but I don't know if it was really a functioning farm to make money, or if it was just kind of helping you guys.
I know they did the chickens' eggs, so they would have people come to buy the eggs from them by the different sizes. I just remember them telling about that. And I know the steers were for the beef, so I'm guessing the pigs were, I don't know what else you'd do with them. I guess they would eat them. So,
Yep.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you just telling me about stories when you were a kid, when I was a kid, and I remember thinking, oh, there's no way she can remember when she was a kid.
Oh.
And now that I'm probably the age you were when I was a kid, I remember everything when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting that it's just interesting to hear the stories sometimes, I
Yep.
guess.
Yep.
Yeah. So you had a fun winter in Arizona.
Yep.
You retired a few years ago.
Yep.
So you want to talk a little bit about Arizona?
It's altogether different than what you would think, at least for us. We knew that when we retired, we didn't want to go to Florida. We'd been to Florida, and we didn't want the wind, the bugs, the rain, whatever. When it's cold up north, it could be cold down there. And we said, let's try Arizona. So we went out there, and the first year we tried Phoenix. Phoenix is huge, 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 so much traffic, and we enjoyed the first month there, but then we went south of there down to Casa Grande, and it was just a RV park that had all kinds of things to do all the time. There was always people out doing things. So after that month there, we decided that the previous years or the next few years that's where we would go, would be to Arizona.
Yeah.
We just enjoy it. There's a lot of people, a lot of stuff to do.
A lot of activities. Pickleball.
Pickleball. Yep.
I had never heard of pickleball until you guys came back,
Yep.
but that's it's kind of like a smaller version of tennis and a bigger version of ping pong.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's
Somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have par 3 golf course.
Yep.
And
That's where I got my first hole in one, or my only hole in one was on that course a couple years ago.
yeah,
So that was fun.
all you golfers out there, my mom got a hole in one.
Yep.
So she's
Yep.
better than you.
Yep.
And how many has Dad had?
He had 2 official ones.
2 official ones.
And then this past winter, he got a hole in one on what they call the big cup. So they had a 10-inch
yeah.
cup that they put in instead of the regular hole. And it was funny because he called it and said, it's going in the hole. And
Yeah.
we could watch it go in the hole. So that's
how,
not
I
real.
wonder how close up he got. Could he see? Did it hit like the center of the hole, like it would have been a real hole in one? Or,
Oh,
it's hard to tell because
it's hard
probably
to tell. Yeah, I don't
foot,
know.
What was it? A foot wide hole that he was?
Yeah,
hitting in?
yeah.
Which is still good. I mean, he got really close, but I wonder how close it would have been on a real hole.
Yep.
And then his first hole in one.
Oh, that was a fluke. He didn't want to tell anybody.
I was gonna say maybe we should have talked. Should we talk about Dad at all? He's probably gonna.
I know. He's probably saying, no.
We'll
she
just
doesn't know.
say it bounced off of a tree and got
And
a
he
hole
used
in
a
one.
really weird club for as short
Yeah.
as it was, because we were practicing for a 2-club tournament.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But then the second one was an official one.
the second one
to
was
be
an
proud
official
of.
one, and we won the tournament because he made it.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So, so you go to Phoenix for the winter. You've kind of pretty much traveled the world. You've been to Scotland. You've been to Europe. been to Alaska. You've been to most of the states.
Yep.
Hawaii.
Yep. Yep.
How many countries? Was it just when I went, I was like 12 or 13, and we went over there for a month, and I think we went to 8 different countries. We went to Germany, France, UK. But since then, have you gone to many more countries other than
No.
Scotland?
Other than Scotland,
And
yeah.
Scotland was golfing again.
Right, right.
Yep.
Yep. A couple times for Scotland for golfing.
Yep. So, do you have a favorite destination that you could say?
In my eyes, I never really wanted to leave the country. I didn't care if we went over to Europe or not. But when Steve worked over there, or your
Yeah.
dad worked over there, we had free airfare and a place to stay. So it was like, wow, what a great opportunity. So we went then, and it was nice because you kids were older, so you could remember it a lot more than if you would have been, 5 years old. You probably wouldn't remember it. But
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, that was kind of, we went to California when I was like 4 or 5, and
yeah,
my memories are pretty foggy. I remember mostly just being in was it an RV?
Yep.
What do they call
Yep.
those?
It was
Winnebago, maybe?
well, it was a mini home.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
Yep. I remember the redwoods, too. Those left a big
Yep.
impression
Yep.
on me because those big trees.
yep.
Yeah.
And probably what you remember is looking at photo albums and going, "Oh, I remember that."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I don't remember a whole lot of it, but just
Yeah.
bits and pieces here and there. But
Well-
yeah, it's because I was little. Speaking of not remembering much, I thought about this. So, when I was 1, I broke my collarbone,
yes, you did.
and I don't remember that at all.
Oh,
But from what you've told me afterwards, so I fell off a picnic table. Was that what the
Well-
story was, or?
we were camping. We had just bought into this camping club down by Marion, and they had a weekend that they could do yard sale stuff. So you could bring your stuff and set it out, and then people would walk around and buy it if they wanted to. So it was Memorial Day weekend, and you were sitting at a picnic table, and you were a little. Well, let's see if it would have been. You would have been 2, I guess, just turned 2. But anyway, you were sitting on the bench of a picnic table, and you leaned forward. I can still see it to reach the table to look up at something, and you missed the table, feeling the table, and fell through.
Oh.
And then, you were crying, and you get up, and we thought, gosh, it's kind of weird. Your one shoulder, you were holding it funny. So we thought, well, we'll take you to the emergency room. So we drove over and took you to the emergency room. They x-rayed you and said that you had a broken collarbone. However, it was on the opposite side than what we thought. You had favored the one side, evidently, to make the other side feel okay. They put you in like a little sling thing to hold your arms so your shoulders would stay in place. But we discovered with being like a 2-year-old, a lot of times you pick them up to carry them, that if people would grab you under your armpits, then that would hurt you. So we would put a little sign on the back of you all the time that says, "Please do not pick up, I'm broke." And so you
Yeah.
wore that sign around the back of you. We actually got shirts for you. We didn't have any shirts. We got shirts that buttoned up on the front, not slip over the head shirts for you to wear, so you didn't have to put your arms up. But
Yeah.
so we had regular shirts that we'd button up on you, and then you'd wear the little sign pinned on the back of you, so people wouldn't forget and go, "Oh, he's so cute," and go to pick him up and hurt you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So speaking of not remembering it, I thought about it. I don't know which side was broken. Do you remember
It was
which
that one
side?
up over
It was
there.
my right side.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that, and I was feeling them both, and I was like, well, I don't know which collarbone I broke.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yep.
yep. So, what else do you want to talk about?
Well, things that I don't remember. I was thinking back in my mind when I started to play guitar.
Oh,
I
yeah, I was going to ask you about
yeah,
that.
I'm guessing maybe 4th grade, but I'm not sure. And I don't know how many years I took lessons and played guitar. I just remembered I went down to Fremont, and when I started up, it was 6:30. They took an hour each week, and I was always on Monday nights, and I had a lesson from 6:30 to 7:30. And then as I got older, I went to the 8:30 class and was 8:30 to 9:30. But there was a lot of times we wouldn't get into lessons until 9:15. He always run late. Mr. Johnson was always late. But he was very strict on making sure that you never memorized anything. He wanted you to read the music and learn how to play by reading the music. He was very strict on you always had to practice every half an hour every single day. So this is the living room when I
Practice for a half an hour every day?
Practice for a half an hour every day.
Yeah.
So this is the living room when I was a little kid here, and there was a couch along over in that corner, and I had my guitar sitting over there all the time, and every night my mom would say, "Did you practice?" And so I'd come in and practice. It always had to be a half an hour. It couldn't be 25 minutes or 20 minutes. It was a half an hour. I could play longer, but I couldn't. And then, then I think Mr. Johnson, I was always a good student. There was always, he always liked and said I did a good job from all the practice. But the bad thing is now I don't feel like I can still read music. I can still play music. I can't, I don't memorize stuff. I mean, I know, but I still like to read the music as I go along.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of odd to not be able to.
Well, I would say that's more of a classical training as far as like I learned completely the opposite, but I wasn't really taught by a lot of people. I mean, I was taught a few chords, and then I kind of took it from there. And then along the way, people have just given me help here and there.
Yep.
But I think with the way you learned, and you actually went through and you kind of showed me what you knew a little bit. It's a lot of like guitar theory and things that like really advanced guitar players know.
Right.
Like it's things that I don't know about because it's difficult. But it's interesting because you're at more of that advanced like guitar theory level of guitar playing.
Yeah,
even though you don't like to think that you're, but
Yeah.
you can pretty much, if you have sheet music, you can pretty much play most things on guitar.
Right. And I know it was kind of funny because Dad was asking me, well, how when Mark writes his music or makes his songs, how does he do it without music? Does he? And I said, no, he doesn't have music. He just learns it. And he said, well, how would he get music? I said, well, like I could go through and watch and see what you play and then write it into sheet music. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what good it would be. It would benefit if somebody else that was reading music
somebody wanted to
learn what you were doing, but instead of just showing them it.
I know pretty much, like I know what chords I'm playing, if it's like an A or a B or a C.
Right.
But yeah, beyond that, it's a lot of.
Well, I could write your lead or your leads on a music sheet, but then I could go through and add what chords are supposed to go with it. But you just play the chords you want.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different now. It's more of a, I think a lot of musicians now just kind of play what they want. It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same notes that go in each chord.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's also, I might just not be as advanced as a lot of, because I know a lot of lead guitar players that do know a lot of the guitar theory, and they're playing in the right key, and their solos are hitting all the, I don't even know what words to use here, but they're playing the right notes and the right chords.
right.
And so there is, but I think a lot of it is more, for me, it's more of memorizing patterns on the fretboard. So I've got a memorization of like what notes go together in certain scales and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a different way of.
But I don't think it matters. I think whatever you like and everybody else likes, then whatever that sound makes it, it doesn't matter if all the notes that are in it or the chords right that matches it, as long as you like it and everybody else likes it,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
But I think there's also the potential, and I don't know, I think this has definitely happened to me, where I'm playing chords they don't fit together, and I
Oh,
don't even realize it. I just try to play, usually when I write a song, it's usually only 3 or 4 chords I start with, because that's what most songs
right,
are.
right.
So what I usually do is I just will play 3 or 4 chords, and then if I have them in an order that sounds appealing to me, that's kind of what I go with. So if I like where A minor to a G to a C, if I like the way that sounds, and I have some sort of strum, because I think with the percussion background, it kind of helps with my rhythm.
Right.
So if I can strum it in a cool way, and I think that those 3 chords together sound cool, even though they've been used probably over and over in a bunch of songs. So I just go from there, and as soon as something catches my ear, like, oh, I like those 3 chords together, then I'll start, singing over it or writing a melody over it.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's kind of how I go about it. Have you ever tried writing a song? Do you ever write your own
Well,
or play your own instrumental stuff on guitar or anything?
well, back when I was taking lessons, that's what we would do. We'd have the sheet music with just the melody on it or the lead, and then we were to add, like he would say, okay, now add whatever notes that go with it, so add your harmony to it. So I kind of did that. And
Yeah.
it would actually just change the sound of the music altogether.
Yeah.
So,
Well, talking to other musicians, I had a piano player in here, and he was telling me about how he writes based on piano theory, and he knows, like, well, I'm playing this chord and I want to go to a chorus, I bring it up to this chord, and like he knows all that stuff. So I think it's something that if I knew, it would definitely help me, but
yeah.
it's just one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just haven't learned it.
Yeah. Out in Arizona, we went to a band that was a tribute band for the Beatles, and it was amazing. The songs in the very beginning when they first started out, how they only would use 3 chords,
Yeah.
and it was so simple. Their music was so simple in the beginning, but then as the years progressed and they got into different music, they'd have elaborate.
Yeah, their music changed a
their-
lot over
yeah,
the
their
years.
mu-
Their first albums were a lot more poppy and a lot more
Yeah.
simple and
Yeah. And those I really liked.
Yeah.
And it kind of did that. That's what this tribute band did. They started out really easy with their beginning songs, and I thought, gosh, you just watch them. They're only doing 3 chords, and that's it. Just real simple stuff. And then pretty soon when they got into it, they came back and dressed different, and it was just elaborate. It was like, whoa. And some of that music I didn't care for then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into the Beatles at a later age. I was like in my late 20s until I started getting into the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's interesting. They do a lot of cool layering. It seems like they have a lot of different instrumentation, and they say their producer, I think it was George. I don't know his last name. He's a famous producer, but he pretty much did all the Beatles albums, and he's the only guy that. And I might not know the facts here, so
Yeah, I don't know.
take this with a whim, but I think they had the same producer for all their albums, and he was a really big part of their sound because, he would say, "Oh, we need a tuba in this song, and we need all these different layers that they use to, make the songs have more depth in those years."
Well, I think most musicians back then, they started out with the basics and then they did elaborate. They got big orchestras like Elvis Presley when he, at the very end, he had a huge, huge, huge band, with backup singers and all kinds of instruments and stuff. So a lot of them, that's what they do when they become famous. They just have.
Yeah. That's still going on today, too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see those big ensembles on stage.
Yep,
And
yep.
even for, like, the solo acts, they have a big band following them
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
So, how long do you have any idea how long you really practiced guitar or
How,
played,
how
took
long
lessons?
I don't
So you
know.
don't quite remember when you started.
No, I no, and I don't remember when I was finished playing lessons down there. I took lessons, and then I had some people would quit, and then they'd move you into a different class, so you'd have other people that would play with you. And a lot of times he taught accordion, so sometimes I would be with accordion players, steel guitar players. My brother, he decided he wanted to take lessons, but he wanted to play the Spanish guitar. And
Is that nylon strings or
no, the
just a different flamenco style or
well, they
whatever?
called it the Spanish guitar. Just he wanted to play the regular guitar, and he went down to where I took lessons at, and Mr. Johnson said, "Well, no, we need just a steel guitar." So he became a steel guitar player, and he took lessons when I did, and
This is Uncle Ron?
yep, and he didn't care for it as well. I mean, he has a big steel guitar with the pedals and the all that, but that isn't what his main focus was in the very beginning. He didn't want that part of it.
Yeah.
The fun part is I know I was in high school. Every year when they have the Sandusky County Fair, Mr. Johnson would take all of his students down to the fair. They'd set up a big tent down there, and then they would schedule you to come in and play. And it was always fun because you practiced and practiced and practiced, and then you'd go down there, and it was kind of, like a stage, and you were right on the main drag, and everybody'd be walking past, and you'd be playing, and they'd stop and listen to you. Now, nobody was ever singing, but we were just playing our instruments. That's how he got new classes set up for the upcoming year, is by showcasing all of his students. So it was just a fun time when the fair was going on. We'd go down and play at the fair, and then,
Yeah. So did you ever join up with any other sort of bands or anything? Or
I did a couple different things. I played my guitar down at Old Zim's with another band, and that's when Old Zim's, you were upstairs, up above is where they had the stage up there. And I can remember going in there, and they said, "Oh, we're going to play this and this and this," and I said, "Okay." And it was just, I never practiced with them. They just threw me in there and said, "Okay, just play this and this." And it was so different because I couldn't hear myself. I didn't, and it
big
was like,
problem for musicians.
big problem. I had no idea what I was playing. So I played a few times down at Old Zim's with the band, and
Yeah.
I
Just
guess
couldn't hear yourself
Yeah, I couldn't
like
hear
you were
myself.
used to.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a big change for sure.
Yeah.
Even when I just have been doing this solo acoustic stuff, I noticed the very first time I went out and actually played on a stage, it was so different that I came back and said I bombed because I didn't think I did well, and
yeah.
I was like really nervous and it didn't sound right, and my guitar sounded really kind of harsh and metallic almost.
Yeah.
Like the pickups were.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a
Yeah.
weird experience.
That's really weird.
The-
Yeah.
So did you ever do anything else with
Oh
bands?
yeah. Since I knew.
Wait, are you a touring rock star that I don't know about?
Yeah, yeah. I toured with the Gibson Marching Band,
Oh,
but I only did it once because
with a guitar?
I did
Oh.
it with the trombone.
I think I might
The
have
music
heard this
teacher,
story.
the music teacher up there knew that I had taken lessons and that I could read music, and he said, "Oh, we really need trombone players. We definitely need trombone players. Will you play the trombone?" And I said, "Well, yeah." So he says, "Well, here's the sheet music. However, it's it's bass clef. I'm reading treble clef. It's bass clef." And I'm going, "Oh." So I had to learn the bass clef part of it, and then I had to learn how to play the trombone. And so I probably took, I don't know, a few months worth of lessons, and he gives you the music, and they have them on the little thing, and he says, "Okay, you're going to have to march with the band." So it probably was in the fall of the year when the band starts marching for the parades, or maybe it was in the spring of the year, maybe it was at the end of the school year and Memorial Day, I don't remember. But anyway, little did I know that the trombone players, which makes sense now, are the very first ones in the line because their slides go far out. So, not having this instrument very long, I'm in the front row and I'm playing like I'm supposed to, and my slide comes off. And down on the street it goes while we're marching, and I have to run back through the band and pick up my slide and put my trombone back together and get back to the front of the band. So that was the only time I marched with the band.
Yeah. Was that too traumatic of an experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I must have been pretty naive not to know that it would fall off, but I
Well.
didn't know. And
I guess if you're new to it. Yeah,
So-
that's funny.
yep.
Yeah, I remember hearing that story now that you tell
Yeah.
me about that.
Yep.
Yep. So what else do you want to talk about? We're,
If you notice when you talk, you keep your hands down. When I'm talking, my hands are going everywhere.
oh,
It's funny.
so I've started this podcast just to I don't know, kind of have fun with it and see what if anything develops with it. And this is the 6th one, and the first 5 have all been guys.
Okay.
And not by a plan or anything, but more of I've just been looking for people that want to promote something, and it's been musicians so far. So, thanks for being my first female guest.
Okay.
I've contacted a couple of girls that are musicians in the area, and I've got denied by both of them. So, hopefully, having my mom on the podcast will open up the doors for some diversity on the podcast, but who knows? I noticed that when it comes to the music world, at least in this area, there's a lot more guys than there are girls. So at least that's the way it seems. Maybe I'm just not finding them. So what you got planned for the day?
Oh, well, I thought you had told me that you could go on like Google how to play like any song you want. So I come up with I want to learn how to play Wipeout. I think I've played it a long time ago. I don't have the music for it.
Oh,
So I went on Google and I Googled how to play Wipeout, and they have step by step. So I watched them and all that. And there's one part of it that I wasn't for sure what they had to do. So the next thing I did was go on Google and I got my sheet music. So now I can read what I really want to play. So that's how bad I am when I have to
Oh.
read the music. So
yeah. So was it like a YouTube instructional video?
Yep, it was a YouTube. Yeah, I guess it was
Yeah.
YouTube. Yep.
So have you been playing guitar a lot lately? Or
Oh,
since
not
you've been in Arizona, you didn't take it with you.
No.
Yeah.
But so I came back, and so today I dug it out and thought, oh, maybe I'll get back in here. I think I ought to be able to play Wipeout. That should be really easy.
Yeah.
But
Do you find it hurts your fingers when you get back into
yeah, a
playing?
little bit. This one finger that
Yeah, you smashed a finger in a door.
I cut the end of it off. So that one's the sorest one. But
Yeah. I got some pretty good calluses worked up now.
yeah, I did before we left for Arizona, but I didn't take guitar along, so
Yeah.
they kind of went away. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to Toledo tonight. There's a concert at the Ottawa Tavern I'm going to.
oh,
My buddy Riley Sager, who was on episode 3, I believe, of the podcast. He's doing a show there, and then it's a couple national acts that are playing with him. I think a couple guys I didn't really hear of, but I think one of them's name is Wax, something like that. I don't know. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
So that's going on tonight. And tomorrow I got my poker league.
okay.
You like to go to the casino, but you're into penny slots,
Penny slots.
keeping the stakes low.
Yeah, and there's some of them that you want to play, but to put one spin in it actually costs you 60 pennies. That's really a lot. I don't know. I like the 30-cent pennies, 25, 30 cents. So
Yeah.
when you,
So are they? Do you think they're raising the limit on the penny slots? Are you seeing a lot more of those where, you have
oh
to
yeah,
you have to do 60 and
oh yeah. I think yeah, 60s, 50 and 60 is the main ones now. There is some that's 75 just to get one line. But
yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
That's a lot.
I haven't really gotten the bug for playing slots. Every time, I think part of it is I've never really won. I've won maybe
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
So when you're, and I haven't played them a lot, but when you're constantly losing, it gets like
I know it.
kind of boring.
I
But
know it. It's not very
I'm sure if
fun.
it all lit up and started ringing, I'd probably get more excited about it. But
Yeah, yeah. We kind of like to play the poker. There's poker up there, but it's not penny. They have it at nickel, so we can play 3 hands for a nickel. So it's actually 15 cents for one time. So that's better than 60 cents for another time. But so it's 15 cents for one hand, or you get 3 hands. And I got 4 deuces the other day, which paid 200 nickels. And I was like, yay, this is great. The lady beside me, she glanced over and she says, oh, that's pretty good for only playing 15 cents. And it really was, but
yeah,
it's kind of like, because she was over there, she was betting big money on hers. So
yeah.
it's kind of funny. I always
What's
figured,
200 nickels work out to? I was trying to do the math. That's what?
well, 100, so it'd be $10. 100's,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I was getting there. It's just taking me a
I
little
know
while.
it. I know it. So,
Yeah. So the low stakes. Do you ever try any other games? You don't play much of anything else.
no,
Did Dad ever do poker at the casinos?
no, no.
I know he
No.
played. I was doing a tournament at the Hollywood one night, and he came up and played and didn't do very good. I didn't do very good either.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no.
Uncle Ron likes to play blackjack.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I'm
He
not.
usually does pretty good at it, but
Yeah. I don't know the rules well enough.
I don't either. Yeah, I
And
don't
it's not
either.
a difficult game, but I wouldn't know when to push or double down or
Yeah,
do
yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do the betting, I guess.
I don't either. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And he's talking about craps.
Oh,
Kind of getting into craps a little bit, which seems like a really complicated game.
is
But,
craps the one where you throw the dice?
yeah. And
Yeah.
you want
Yeah, because a couple years ago we went to Vegas and there was a guy there that was at the craps table, the dealer or the guy that was running it. And he said, come here, come here. And so he was teaching Ron how to do it. And so then Ron comes over and says, come here, come here. So he brings me over there and he gives me startup money or whatever. And we would roll it. It was really fun, but we played a little bit. I think I got like $60 out of it, which was huge. And so that's the only time we played then.
Yeah.
Then after that, I never really.
it always seems like they're having fun at that table, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody's seems like it's an exciting game, but
yeah.
from what I've heard, it's a lot of big swings, ups and downs.
I
and
think so too.
You can really lose a lot really quick, or
Yeah.
you can win a lot
Yeah.
really quick too.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think if you have lots of money and don't care about it, then. But I never want to do that. I just have a small amount I can lose, and that's it.
yep,
So.
yep, yeah. I've been losing at my poker league. I've had 2 weeks so far, and got last place the first week and third to last this past week. So, so far no good. But I think I got a handle on I got a good read on everybody now. So
Okay.
I'll start getting better.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So any exciting plans for I don't know, the coming week? I'm running out of things to talk about.
We're going to a ball game tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, Matthews.
Matthew's game. Yep.
Yep, Matthew is your grandson, my nephew.
Yep. He's 12 and he's playing up at Detweiler. So
Oh,
we're going up there to watch him play the past.
he's got a lot of baseball games this
He has a
summer.
lot of baseball games, yeah.
Yep.
Megan's still in practice. That's her granddaughter. She's in practice. So Monday night she'll do practice, and then
And she's doing fast pitch softball.
yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. She's going to be a pitcher,
Oh,
I guess.
gonna have to make sure
Yes.
she wears a helmet.
Yeah, and practices, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mom, my sister, got hit with a softball as a pitcher right in the mouth.
Yep.
And she was a kid and knocked out a tooth. And then her dad also, wasn't he a baseball pitcher and got hit right in the mouth? So
Yep.
both of her parents were pitchers, so she's going to have
And
to...
lost their front tooth, both
yeah.
of them. Yep.
So at least she's got
Yep.
some wisdom to cover her face.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's going to get that put in her head.
Yeah. Mouth guard. Mouth guard.
Yeah, full-on helmet. Maybe they need you just put up a big blockade in front of
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So,
Well, now Matthew, he has a mouth guard, but most of the time he's chewing on it. It's not like covering his teeth as good as he thinks.
yeah.
But,
That seems to be a pretty common theme with mouth guards. I see guys in the NBA doing
Oh, I
that
know
all the
it.
time, or throwing them, or
I know it. Yeah. Yep.
chew toys.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
So is this house a lot different looking than when you were a kid? I got a studio set up in this room now, which you said your guitar used to be in this corner here where I got a drum set.
yep. Yep. Because we had the couch was along that way.
Yep. Are all the rooms the same, or has there been additions since you were a kid?
The apartment off the back's all
Okay.
new.
Yep.
And that was built when I was a senior in high school. That was all changed. It used to be a porch, and then they changed it, and then they added on to it. So
Yep. Was the kitchen? It was. I know you just remodeled
yeah,
the
that's
floor
right.
and the countertops and stuff, but was it set up differently before? Was it?
no, gosh, I forgot now. My brother told me when they built the kitchen. I think Peggy was. I think it was 50 years ago. 50 years ago they did the kitchen.
Yeah.
I didn't remember much of it. Well, see, I would have been 13, so I remember the old kitchen. I remember where the entryway was, and I remember back where the washer and dryer is, there used to be a big freezer back in there. Because when I was a little kid, my mom used to love to make pies, and then she would put them back on the top of that freezer to cool. And she'd always say, "Don't you be opening that freezer," because all the pies would fall behind.
Yep.
So I remember the old kitchen.
So was the freezer? Just trying to gauge how many years ago this was in a farmhouse. It wasn't like an ice box or anything.
No, it was a freezer.
It was actually
Yes,
something you
yeah.
plugged in.
It was a great, great, great big one, real long one, and then
Yeah.
and then the top would come open on it.
Yep.
Yep.
So this is what used to be a farm, and there's a big 20-acre field behind us. So did
Yep.
Grandpa farm that himself?
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And
Did he have a lot of like gardens and stuff? Or
yeah, they had a big garden out here.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So what did he mostly grow in the field? Was it just like corn and soybeans? And
I think so. Yeah, I don't
remember a lot.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think there was anything else. No, I don't think they did wheat or anything. I know one year he did. I'm not sure if it was one year or not. He did pickles, and he had 2 acres, and so every other day you had to pick an acre of pickles. So I remember that. Just my brothers, they went out to pick the pickles. I was still young.
Pick the pickled peppers?
Pick the yeah.
Sounds like a limerick we're
Yeah.
going for here. But it's
Well, I must have been over 10 because I think when I was 10 I got my bicycle. But I don't really know. But my bicycle had a rack on the back that the pickle basket used to set in, so I could ride my bike down the middle where the tractors and the wagons would go through. I'd ride my bike, and my brothers used to take and they'd get these big old pickles or cucumbers, and they'd throw them at me and see if they could knock me off my bike.
Jeez.
Yeah, I
Those
know.
are your older brothers. They're
They was-
supposed to be protecting
They were
you.
supposed to be nice to me, and they weren't.
Yeah.
They'd throw them pickles at me.
Yeah.
The bigger the pickles, then they weren't as good as when they turned into cucumbers. You got less money. So if you picked the littler ones, you got more money for each.
Yeah. So after you pick them, then you put them in like a solution to
Well,
make
no,
'em
then
into
you take them
pickles?
over
to
to
pickle them, or you took
you
them
took
to
them
like a
over
plant?
to it was over in Pemberville every night. My dad would they'd load him up in the back of the pickup truck, and then he'd go over to Pemberville and set in line, and then he could sell them over there.
Oh,
And then he'd go to work and then come home and load
Yeah.
up all the pickles again. Or
now he worked at the lime plant.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
How many years was he there? Long time?
long time.
Yeah. You're shaking your head like
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't know much about the lime plant?
Yeah, yeah.
It's still there.
Well, yeah, but it's not a lime plant anymore.
Oh.
It's a Coolman concrete place.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought when I was a kid, has it just changed over recently? But
Yeah.
Because I remember them having
Yeah.
big piles of lime and stuff out there, lime hills and
Yeah. Well,
yeah. What do they use lime for? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Isn't that what they line football fields with? No. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I have to Google it.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
figure out anything these days with Google.
I know it. You can find
Just
out anything.
ask a question to your phone.
Yep. Yep.
So you're part of that. I think we're both part of the same generation of being around before the internet and after the internet. Do you think it's been a huge change? I remember when the internet first came out, and everyone was telling me how it's going to change everything and it's going to be this whole revolutionary thing. And I remember thinking, well, you go to these websites and look stuff up, and it didn't really seem to, for the first 5 or 10 years, have a real impact. But now I can kind of see what they're talking about, in that it's almost like, having the answers or the information to everything at your disposal now. So
Right. Right.
and I've noticed that now there's a new generation of kids like, Matthew and Megan, they've been born and the internet's always been around.
Right.
So I wonder,
Right. So when you don't know how to do anything, we can ask them.
yeah. Well, it is. I think there is a different attitude. I noticed that with some of the younger people that I work with too, where they just, I don't know. It's a different thing to always have the internet, and you can tell kids that, oh yeah, they used to never be around, and they just kind of, well, yeah, but I don't think it really sinks into
Right. Right. Right.
the different world it was. So when you had to go on a road trip, you had to get out your atlas and look at a real map and
Right.
figure out where you were, and you didn't
Yeah,
have this
and then
GPS.
you could even, if you wanted to see how far it was away, you would take road by road to road to road, and it'd have like a 7 and a 3 and a 5, and you'd add it all up to see how far away it was.
Yeah,
You didn't,
yeah.
so it was like, gee.
And even just getting information about stuff. I remember when I was in college at BG, there was a phone number that you could dial, that you could ask them any question you wanted, and they would answer it. And I think all they did was they just Googled it. But
Oh,
the internet was, it'd been around for a little while, but it wasn't something where everybody had a smartphone. I don't think smartphones were around quite then.
right.
So it was,
Right.
and I just remember thinking, whoa, that's just nuts. I can just call this person up and ask them any question. And now it's kind of like, well, that was kind of dumb. So, yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, it's kind of like, I don't know, I compare it to when you were in school and you're learning math problems and you're thinking, well, what do I need to learn all this math for? I got a calculator. Now it's almost like, what do I need to learn all this information for? I got a smartphone.
Yeah.
I can just ask Google.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's making kids smarter, or I think just having the access to information so readily available. I like it because I think you can learn anything that you want to. So I do a lot of just anytime I think of something that. So after this podcast, I'm going to be like, what is lime used for?
Okay.
You know?
You're going to find out.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Of course, my latest EP that I released in 2017, the first song on it is called "Too Much Information,"
Oh, yeah.
and that was was kind of playing around with that idea, but it was more of the idea of people sharing too much information on social media and stuff. And sometimes it's like, you know, you don't want to know that much about everybody all
Right,
the time.
right,
But
right.
it is interesting. Some people think that, well, you can kind of see our privacy slipping away a little bit, but some people think that there's just, 50 years down the road, there might not be any privacy. It'll all just be,
Oh, I don't.
you'll just know everything about
Oh,
everybody.
I think they will, and I think it won't be 50 years. I
I think
bet it'll be less
closer
than that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's,
But if you don't have anything to hide, why should you care?
yeah.
If they know where you're at or know what you're doing, or
Well, yeah, I understand that, but it's also who are the people that know all this
Well,
stuff?
yeah.
Because sometimes it's just companies looking to make money off it.
Right.
So a lot of times, I find that annoying. It's almost like some of the apps and things that you download. You just agree to their terms right away, and there's some apps now that they'll just scan your entire living room and they can take pictures and camera and video of everything.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so yeah, I'm not so much worried about the having things to hide as just different sort of marketing companies or businesses getting access to you a little bit too easily. Because there's definitely stories now where people, they're just talking about something and they happen to have their phone in the room. So let's say I start talking about Rice Krispies, and then I pick up my phone, and on my feed, all of a sudden there's an advertisement for Rice Krispies.
oh,
That's because the microphone on your smartphone picks up you saying that word, and then it goes into this advertising algorithm, and it throws up these advertisements. You can see it a lot more when you search for things on the internet.
Oh,
So if you
yeah.
search for, a Christmas present or something,
right,
and
right.
then you'll start seeing advertisements for all that. But there
Right.
have been cases where people are like, I wasn't searching for it. I was just talking about it with a friend.
Oh, wow.
And so it's interesting. It's kind of makes you wonder, like, well, what's this microphone on my phone recording
Yeah,
all the time?
yeah, yeah.
So,
That's kind of scary then.
yeah.
Well,
Well, that's the thing is, and then there's also, there's a little camera on your phone, and who knows if the iPhone, if Apple can just turn that camera on and turn it off at will. I mean, you like to think that they're respecting your privacy now, but who knows what'll happen in the future.
yep, yep.
I think it's interesting too that I don't know, I think it's going to change the way people can interact with each other. It seems like it may bring us together more, because now if you get on a comment section on YouTube, you can be talking or chatting with people all over the world. And so I wonder, like, it's almost like I think of our government as being, a representative government, but it's almost getting outdated to the point where, Congress was there from, way back in the day when you didn't have a way to reach your representatives. You had to go by horse and buggy, or you had to send a telegram. And so you needed representatives for your states and the people to kind of express the ideas that you have. And now that the internet's here, it's almost like we can instantly communicate. President Trump's on Twitter. You can contact him immediately, and he can send out information on his phone, and you can reply to that information. It's almost like I think the system needs to be updated to reflect that, because it's almost slowing down the process now that we have to go through all these intermediaries to get things across that we can just instantly tell people. So I don't know. I think it's gonna take a long time for those sort of changes to happen, but I don't know. It's not something you think about.
It'll go fast.
Yeah.
It'll happen fast.
Well, everything's happening pretty fast.
I know it. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of changes as far
Yeah.
as.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking of making a teepee. So my friends had made a teepee years ago, so I found a picture of it. Here, that was 2005. Though 13 years ago they made this teepee, and I'm like, my gosh, it just seemed like it was a few years ago. So, goes fast.
yeah,
Yep,
I think the older you get, the faster it goes.
faster it goes.
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
It's a weird phenomenon.
yep.
Yep. So you like to do mushroom hunting
Yeah,
for morels.
yeah.
'Tis the season.
It's getting close. I hope. I don't know.
Yeah, it's still been pretty cold this
It's still
spring.
been pretty cold. I don't know.
Yeah. So for many years, you go up to Michigan, up near Gaylord.
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
way
Gaylord.
up in Michigan?
Yep. 5 hours up. Yep.
And Michigan's good for it because their parks are open to the public, right?
Yeah.
Mostly.
A lot of them are, the forest where we go in are state owned, so you can go into them.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the difference between that and like the state parks in Ohio? Like, why is it just?
Well, I think you can go up to White Star and you could hunt up there.
Yeah.
But now somebody had said that Wood County, they won't let you in, like over at Pearson Park. They won't let you mushroom hunt in there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought there was some sort
So
of
I don't know.
regulations in Ohio where
Yeah,
you
I
can't
don't know.
actually go into the state parks doing it. But
I don't know. Yeah.
so this year you kind of said you might not go up to Michigan though.
Yeah. We haven't got very many the past quite a few years, so
Yeah, they've
we
been,
may not go. I don't know. We're
Yeah.
thinking about maybe, maybe not.
but last year around here you got quite a few.
Yeah, we got quite a few last year. Well, quite a few, 30 or 40 or 50.
Yeah.
That's not very many, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was a kid and we used to go up to Michigan, we would get lots and lots of
Hundreds
mushrooms.
and
Yeah.
hundreds.
I
yeah.
could never get any. I was never good at
Well,
it.
yeah, you guys took your backpacks. Remember your backpacks? And it had snacks and games and whatever, and we'd walk through the woods, and you and your brother would sit down on the log and pull out your backpacks and eat and fiddle around and play. And so
Yeah.
we would circle that area so we could watch where you guys were at, and then we'd circle that area, and then we'd say, okay, come on, let's move. So we'd go up to another place, and then you'd find another log and sit down and play. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was never really into the mushroom hunting.
yeah, yeah,
Now I kind of like it.
yeah.
But now I worry about ticks all the time.
Oh, I know it. That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah. I went into a prairie marsh kind of area out near Port Clinton a few years ago. And we were walking through looking for mushrooms, and on our way back, we looked down and there was ticks all over the outside
Yeah.
of our jeans, just 30 or 40 just crawling all over
Yeah.
us, and we just started running back to the car, and
Yeah.
and that was just awful. That was like for the next week, it was just a paranoia of
Yeah.
oh, there's ticks here, and
Yeah.
I'd take a shower and there'd be a tick on the ground or on the bathtub floor, and ugh,
Yeah. Yeah. That's awful. Yeah.
yeah, they're from all reports the ticks are getting a lot worse, especially in the New York area and Northeast.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And they're getting really bad with Lyme disease.
Yeah. There's supposed to be
I wonder if that has anything to do with Lyme.
Yeah, we come full circle here.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be something that you can use vinegar. You mix vinegar and something else, and you can spray it on you. And the ticks don't like that smell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you generally will just cover up everything.
Yeah, I cover up everything, and then I get sweating in there.
Yeah.
I tie up my hair, and just my face is sticking out. And wear long sleeves and
Yeah.
socks tucked in, or your pants tucked into your socks, so they can't get up in your pant legs.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember going up to Michigan, and I just remember those forests being so big that one of the things that we had to make sure we always had was a compass. So
Yep.
you knew
So you knew
where,
which. Yep.
because it was really easy to get kind of turned around and lost
Yep.
up in there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times now, well, Dad will take his phone along. I don't know if he gets service or not. I don't know if we take our
Yeah.
compasses, but this one area that we've been in it so many times that we always figure, we always go in and we kind of circle around and we always think, oh, we know where the car's at. We'll head back out and we'll walk and walk and walk and walk. And it's like, dang, we lost that car again. So
Yeah.
finally we'll come across it. So
Yeah. Have you ever gotten really lost where you thought, it
Good.
might get dark pretty soon or anything like that? Or?
no.
No.
No, usually we go right away in the morning. So
Yeah.
we have all day, but no. But I mean, it could take us an hour, hour and a half until we find the car sometimes.
Yeah.
We'll go, well, should be around here. Or if you pass somebody, you'll say, did you happen to see such and such? And they'll go, oh, or yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
So we know we're heading the right way. So,
Yeah, I remember I was never good at finding them. It kind of takes a lot of practice to get your eyes adjusted to
Yeah.
seeing those mushrooms.
Yep.
And I never really got good at it. But I remember following Uncle Craig, who's been hunting
Oh,
those
yeah.
things since he was a little kid. And I was just walking behind him as a little kid, and I was just watching him just bend down and pick them up, pick them up, pick them up.
I
and
know
he
it.
was just
I know it.
like they were everywhere. And I was like, I don't even know where he's seeing these
I
things.
know it. I know it. Yeah, they went, I mean, they've been mushroom hunting like forever. And
Yeah.
yeah, him and his sister, they could just find them. And we can walk right with them and don't see them.
Yeah.
His mom used to, she used to go up there. And I remember the last time we went mushroom hunting with her, she had this one area and she'd say, oh, Becky, look at right there. And there was just tons of them. She'd say, go ahead and go pick them. So I said, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So
Yeah.
let's go pick them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I remember Dad saying a story about seeing some bears a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't too many years ago.
Yeah.
We were both back in there together. He likes to go faster than I do. I like to be a slower because I look better for the mushrooms. He just zips right along, and I'll say, you're missing all of them. And so a lot of times he's further ahead than I am. And I remember this one time we were like around this hill area, and he come up and over the hill, and he was going fast. He goes, there's a bear down there. Keep going, keep going. So we headed up and out of there. I never saw the bear, but he's seen the bear.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but there's definitely bears up there.
Yep.
So you think you're just going to stay around here this year?
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah.
probably we'll just look around here, or I'll look around here. He doesn't like to go out in the woods when there's ticks. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got any vacation plans for the summer yet?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I know you just bought a plot out in Arizona. So.
Yeah. A plot. Sounds like a cemetery plot.
Oh. Well, you bought a space.
We bought
permanent
a space.
space.
We bought a permanent space out there. Yep.
Yeah. So you were talking about had a heck of a time getting out there this year because of the cold weather and
Yeah, it was freezing
the
cold
big
when we headed out.
RV. The big RV that you're driving is tough to heat up when it's below zero outside.
Yep.
Even especially when you're going down the road and
Yeah. Yep.
so you're thinking maybe heading out there
Yeah,
maybe
we
in the
might.
fall or
Yeah, we might head out in the fall and just drop it off and then come back home and
yeah.
then go back out after Christmas. So
Yeah.
we'll just wait and see. We don't know what we're doing yet. So now we have this plot
Yeah.
out there. So we can park it there and it won't cost us anything. So it can sit there. So
Yep.
we might do that. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Anything else new?
Oh, I don't know.
No. What do you think of podcasting so far?
Oh, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
It's funny to listen to yourself in the
Yeah. Well, I will give you a forewarning.
that I won't sound like me.
Yeah. Well, most people don't like the sound of their own voice.
Yeah.
I was pretty used to my own voice, but the other thing is that I noticed is you realize the weird things, the weird way. I realize the weird way I say some things. So like, and I can't give you any examples, but I know there's just some words that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I sounded like that when I said those words, or
Yep. Yep.
So, just to give you a forewarning, you might not like hearing this back if
I
you
might
listen
say,
to it.
delete, delete,
Yeah.
delete.
Yeah. So, let's wrap this up. Thanks for coming in and being my first female guest.
Okay.
And it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And if you ever want to do another podcast, you have to let me know.
Okay. Okay. We'll see if we get a bunch of...
I'm sure Dad'll hear this and he'll want to run over and do one too.
I'm
so.
sure he will. Well, in a way, I would have thought, it might have been nice if he was here. He could tell me. He remembers things better than I do.
Oh, does he?
On different stuff, so
Yeah.
maybe he could tell you what they do for lime.
Isn't this area some sort of lime
Yeah, I think it is.
capital or something?
See, he would know more about that
I know
than I would.
Toledo's the glass city, so that's where glass used to be.
Yeah,
Mostly made in Toledo.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay.